being independent, and that is very key, Daryl.
Listen, you can't use my Netflix queue. I know I've got a big queue, but
Very funny.
also you can't be on G-Chat anymore.
You're always on!
I'll fix that.
Monday, Wednesday, Saturday.
Are those off or on?
On.
3 days?
And Thursday.
What about Tuesday? I want to watch The Idol with you.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Review, episode number 316. And the film I'm going to be reviewing for you guys today is Breaking Upwards. Breaking Upwards is directed by Daryl Ween, and it stars Daryl Ween and Zoe Lister-Jones. They both also co-wrote the film together. And it's also based on a slightly autobiographical incident between the two of them because they were in a relationship. They tried something similar, so I hear, and what was born was this film. Breaking Upwards is the story about two people, Daryl and Zoe, and they've been in a relationship for about 4 years. They realize that their relationship is going a little stale. It doesn't have that spark that it used to. So they kind of decide to do something modern, I guess, and a little interesting. They decide to take days off from each other, and what I mean by that is they take, 4 days a week they see each other. We can talk on these 4 days a week. And they set up a schedule, and the other 3 days they can't talk, they can't call each other, they can't text, they can't G-chat, they can't go on Facebook, none of that stuff. They have to separate entirely in hopes that their separation will make them realize that they truly miss each other and they should be together. And what ensues is kind of a relationship, or a film about relationships that I think only independent cinema has kind of given us. Breaking Upwards is probably the most realistic look at a relationship that I have seen in quite some time, and it seems like the types of films where I say that's a very real look at relationships has all come from independent cinema, and I think it's because Hollywood is afraid to make these types of movies, and I think just as people are afraid to watch them and realize a little bit of yourself in these characters, as opposed to seeing, a film like The Bounty Hunter or Leap Year, which is fine if that's what you're into, but those are definitely not realistic relationships or romantic films. They're just very cookie-cutter, run-of-the-mill stuff. This film is so real to me, and I think one of the things I love about Breaking Upwards is it adds a lot of small little touches that I think are lacking from other films and makes their relationship seem so much more real. There's a lot of talk about Facebook and the internet and G-chat in the film. One of the statements that the characters make when they're deciding to separate, he says, "What should I change my Facebook status to?" Which I think is very funny, because if you've ever gone on Facebook and realized, hey, so-and-so is single, you post your life on the internet nowadays. There's also a lot of little stuff, like there's the helmet bump that's in the trailer that I think is just so perfect, and it's so subtle, and it says so much about these two characters. There's a scene when they both first wake up and they take a shower, they're getting ready to start their day, and they're sitting right next to each other eating breakfast, and they're both texting somebody else, which I think is awesome. There's also a scene where they're at the park and they're both reading a book, and it's the exact same book. And the guy is thoroughly bored by reading the book. He's trying to text on his phone without her noticing, which I think is great. And I think one of the things I also really like about Breaking Upwards is that in the first 10 minutes of this film, you really get a sense of who these people are. It feels like they've been together for a really long time. Their mannerisms and the jokes and the sarcastic comments they make to each other feel very realistic and very genuine. The film is not going to be for everyone because it is very low-budget independent filmmaking, but I think that if you give it a chance and really see what this has to offer, I think people that don't watch independent movies are going to be shocked at how good movies can be that aren't big multi-million-dollar blockbusters. I mean, Daryl Ween and Zoe Lister-Jones capture so perfectly in about an hour and a half how a relationship is, all the pain that can come from it, all the joy, all the laughter, all the sadness, all the fear and anxiety and all that sort of thing. I absolutely love this film, and I even think that towards the end, when the climax happens, it could be a very cliched scene, and I think that the way that it's played is very real and genuine, that it doesn't feel cliched at all. I think on paper it might feel that way, but in the film it felt very genuine and real to me. I give Breaking Upwards a very strong 4.5 out of 5. I highly recommend you check it out if it's playing at a theater near you. It's not really playing anywhere too many places, but it's playing in New York City right now at the IFC Center, the Sunset 5 on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, and I believe it opens in San Francisco on April 16th. So if you live in any of those areas, please check it out. I believe it's also on video on demand. I've talked this film to death. Support independent cinema. Do it. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another one for you.